there has been a sharp and unmissable rally, isn't it, Shrishti, when you talk about the Adani Group of counters? All of them seeing spectacular returns over the last 1 week or so.
Well, yes, absolutely, and seem to be making a strong comeback in the markets, and the delivery-based buying of these counters have also seen an increase. Nikunj Dalmia, Managing Editor, ET Now, touches upon the impact of this particular move. So let's go across and revisit his take.
A couple of core factors which are worth revisiting. First, the comeback from that scary low. I think it's just a real royal comeback. Adani Power, Adani Green, Adani Enterprises, Adani Port and Adani Energy. But all Adani Group of companies do not have the same narrative. Some have different, all of them have different narrative. B, if one looks at the delivery-based numbers here, and which is what is I would like to point out, post at least in this week, the delivery-based buying in Adani Group of stocks yesterday was about 3.5 times more than the average, and we're looking at large delivery getting marked here. Adani Energy, Adani Total, Adani Enterprises. I'm talking about the large Adani Group of companies where there is a substantial jump in the entire delivery-based buying. Now, what has changed? I guess what has changed this week is that a lot of institutional investors and HNI investors, I think they're simply taking an assumption that since Adani Group of stocks represents a very large group of, it's a large clutch of infrastructure companies, and if there is continuity, then the policy making when it comes to infrastructure, power, roads, cement, that is not going to change. And that in a sense is a vote for continuity. B, Bernstein's come out with a good report today where they're talking about, it's not today's report, it's a 2-day-old report, but they're talking about factors which are at play now. Promoter share pledges have come down, bond repayment is not an issue, and valuations are much attractive than what the peer averages are. So a lot of factors have come together. The verdict of state election, vote by institutional investors for continuity, the fear of the market in terms of bond repayment and the promoter pledged, all of them have got addressed. And the price in this week itself has been nothing short of quite eye-popping.
All right, so that's the take coming in from Nikunj Dalmia when it comes to Adani Group of counters. Let's bring on board Kunal to understand, is there some more room left for the rally that's underway in the Adani Group of counters? A very good morning to you, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's talk about the Adani Group counters in particular. They have been ruling the charts actually of late over the last 3 trading sessions as well. Spectacular returns coming in all of the Adani Group counters. There have been news also that has been pretty supportive for those individual stocks. But what's your outlook coming in for each of these counters, or which one is your top pick when you talk about the Adani stocks, and more room left for an upside?
Good morning, first of all. So there are 2 parts to it, Cheryl. One, is we have to look at the structure for these charts over the last 1 year. Same time last year or maybe in December 2022 is where these stocks had shown signs of a major top formation for themselves. And we're talking of the formidable names over here, right from the likes of Adani Ports, Enterprise and many of the other group companies. To a point when the stock had fallen down significantly. I think many of the stocks had fallen down at 1 point to 50% or maybe even more in terms of the price correction. Then we have to put this in the context of how these stocks have recovered. For example, Adani Ports, Adani Power, they are the ones which have recovered and managed to surpass above their previous year highs. That's indicative of a major comeback in terms of momentum. Many of the other names like Adani Enterprises still yet to make a very strong comeback for themselves, at least compared to the previous lifetime highs of 4,000 plus for Enterprise. So it always makes sense to go with the leader stocks, even if it's a group rally. So I believe Adani Ports, Adani Power are the ones which could look attractive from current levels, and someone who has a high beta or a high risk appetite from current levels, I think you can look out for Adani Enterprise as well. Short-term charts may look overbought, but then these stocks, they tend to come out of a major consolidation on the back of an event and then continue the uptrend on a medium-term time scale.
All right. So, Kunal, if there's someone who already is invested in these counters right now, what's your advice to them for the Adani Group of counters, be it not the ones that you've already spoken about, not the Adani Enterprises or Power or Ports. Apart from that, if they have something in Wilmar, or for the matter of fact, Adani Total is the one that's actually still not recovered to those high, near those highs, right? So what should they do with their investment in these counters then?
See, I think one thing is very certain that you'll have to shift from many of these names depending on what's your cost price, how much profit you are making, if you are making any profits, and if you've assumably bought at lower levels for these stocks. And it always, as I was saying earlier, that it makes sense to shift towards the leader stocks which have shown signs of a breakout firsthand compared to the other group companies. So I think that's a better strategy, and it always makes sense to try and lower the beta of your portfolio when the markets are already going through a very strong momentum.
Okay, so that's the take on the Adani Group of shares.